Well, ladies and gentlemen, to seek blessing for today's event, we will begin with a prayer, which will be led by Bapak Rifki Octaviandri M. Home. To Bapak Rifki Octaviandri M. Home, the screen is yours. Bapak Rifki.
Ya, mohon maaf tadi ada gangguan sinyal.
Yep.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh.
Bapak Ibu yang berbahagia, marilah sejenak kita berdoa agar kegiatan ini diberkahi dan diberikan kelancaran oleh Allah Subhanahu wa taala. Izinkanlah saya memimpin doa dengan cara Islam. Bapak Ibu hadirin sekalian, mohon berkenan untuk menyesuaikan sesuai dengan agama dan kepercayaan masing-masing. Mari kita mulai dengan membaca Ummul Quran Al-Fatihah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Arrahmanirrahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Shiratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin. Nauzubillahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabihi rasulillahi ajma'in. Allahumma fir lana ya Allah dzunubana wa liwalidayna warhamhuma kama rabbayana shighara wa li jami'il muslimina wal muslimat wal mu'minina wal mu'minat al ahya'i minhum wal amwat. Ya Allah ya Rahim, pada siang ini kami berkumpul di sini di ruang Zoom ini untuk mengikuti TEFLIN webinar 2025. Berkati, ridhoi dan lancarkanlah acara kami ini. Ya Allah ya Qawi, berilah kami kekuatan, kesehatan, ketenangan hati, dan kejadian pikiran agar kami dapat mengikuti kegiatan ini dengan sebaik-baiknya. Catatlah kegiatan ini sebagai amal kebaikan bagi kami di sisimu ya Allah. Amin ya Rabbal Alamin. Ya Allah ya Rahman, bukalah hati dan pikiran kami agar kami dapat menerima ilmu dalam kegiatan ini dengan penuh ikhlas. Ya Allah ya Rahim, jadikanlah kegiatan ini sebagai sarana untuk mempererat persaudaraan, memperluas jaringan, dan dapat memberikan kontribusi positif bagi perkembangan ilmu pengetahuan dan masyarakat. Rabbana zalamna anfusana wa illam taghfir lana wa tarhamna lanakunanna minal khasirin. Rabbana wa la tahmil alaina isran kama hamaltahu 'alal ladzina min qablina. Rabbana wa la tuhamilna ma la taqata lana bih wa'fu 'anna waghfir lana warhamna anta maulana fansurna 'alal qaumil kafirin. Rabbana la tuzigh qulubana ba'da idh hadaytana wa hab lana min ladunka rahmah innaka antal wahhab. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Bapak Rifki. Next, we will hear a welcome speech from the coordinator of TEFLIN West Sumatra chapter. Please welcome Ibu Dr. Yuli Tiarina MPD to deliver this speech. Bu Yuli, please.
Thank you very much, Ibu Lili. Okay, to open this welcoming speech, I want to give a pantun. Since this is Ramadan, so the pantun will be related to Ramadan. Bulan Ramadan, bulan ampunan. Jangan lupa tarawih setiap malam. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to TEFLIN Annual Program. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asrofil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa rasulillahi ajmain la nabiyya ba'da. Honorable Vice President of TEFLIN, Bapak Profesor Dr. M. Hum, our esteemed speaker, Ibu Prof. Wuri Sujatmiko, respected head of the committee, Ibu Dr. Fitrawati SS and PD and members, distinguished lecturers, dedicated teachers, and enthusiastic students from West Sumatra and out of West Sumatra. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to this TEFLIN webinar on positive psychology to empower English language teaching. Ladies and gentlemen, there might be a question about what TEFLIN is. TEFLIN is the Association for the Teaching of English as a Foreign Language in Indonesia. It is a professional organization run primarily by volunteer members of the organization. TEFLIN has legal authority based on decree of the Ministry of Law and Human Rights number 37, dated February 9, 2016. The members of TEFLIN are institutions and individuals focusing on teaching English as a foreign language in Indonesia. Nowadays, not only in Indonesia, TEFLIN stands tall among international professional organizations of TEFL and TESOL institutions in the world. It has close relationship with organizations such as TESOL International, IATEFL, Melta Malaysia, COTESOL, Thai TESOL Thailand, ChemTESOL Cambodia, ALAS South Korea, JESET, JOLT Japan, BELTA, NELTA, Relate Simeo Singapore, RILO, and also British Council. Meanwhile, TEFLIN West Sumatra chapter is a regional branch of TEFLIN that actively supports English language teaching and research in West Sumatra province. It serves as a core for West Sumatra educators, researchers, and students to enhance their skills, share knowledge, and develop innovative teaching strategies. TEFLIN West Sumatra chapter regularly, annually, organize various academic professional development programs, including webinar, workshop, and focus group discussion. For your information, TEFLIN West Sumatra chapter has held 5 webinars since 2020. Inshallah, next time we can conduct a workshop and focus group discussion too. In this occasion, TEFLIN West Sumatra chapter would like to invite you to be TEFLIN members. To get more information about how to join and the benefits of being TEFLIN members, you can search the TEFLIN website, www.teflin.org. Ladies and gentlemen, TEFLIN West Sumatra always tries to raise up-to-date topics. Therefore, today we will talk about positive psychology. Positive psychology emphasizes positive emotions, character strengths, resilience, and personal growth. Lately, teachers face problems of diversities of social policies and vernaculars intervening to connect with the global English. Now, how to empower teaching English with positive psychology, we will find it out. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have Professor Wuri Sujatmiko with us today. Prof. Wuri, thank you very much for joining us, for sharing the idea. Okay, and also we like to send our deepest appreciation to the organization committee who have worked hard to make this event possible, and to all of you participants for your commitment to continuous learning and professional growth. I encourage you all to engage actively, share your thoughts, and take away valuable lessons that will help you thrive both personally and professionally. Let us make this session not just informative, but also inspiring and empowering. Once again, welcome to the TEFLIN webinar. I hope you have a fruitful and insightful experience. I close the speech with the pantun too. Prof. Wuri suaranya merdu, Prof. Zain pun handal bawakan lagu. Thank you very much to all of you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for a nice pantun, Ibu Yuli, and also thank you for the warm welcome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, moving on our next agenda, we are honored to have Bapak Profesor Zain, Vice President of TEFLIN, who will officially open today's webinar. Please give a warm welcome to Bapak Profesor Zain.
Thank you, Bu Lili Perpisa. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good afternoon. Honorable Professor Uri Sujatmiko. Good afternoon, Bu Uri. Honorable Dr. Yuli Tiarina, Coordinator of TEFLIN Sumatera Barat Chapter. Distinguished teachers, lecturers, MGMP members, and ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let's say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has given us blessing and help so that we can attend this webinar on positive psychology to empower English language learning held by West Sumatra TEFLIN chapter. As the Vice President of TEFLIN, I'm pleased to welcome you all to the webinar with the theme Positive Psychology to Empower English Language Learning, organized by West Sumatra Chapter TEFLIN. And I would like to extend my sincere gratitude and appreciation to the coordinator of TEFLIN West Sumatra that has held and organized this webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, English teachers in Indonesia face various challenges when teaching English, a foreign language. These challenges can be influenced by some factors, such as diverse cultural and linguistic landscape, varying level of resources and educational system, and the important thing is related to what we are going to discuss today. That's about the psychological factors. Positive psychology can play a transformative role in empowering English language learning by fostering motivation, resilience, and self-efficacy in learners. By focusing on strength, emotion, and positive experiences, learner can feel more confident and engaged in their language learning journey. There are some topics how positive psychology can be integrated into English language learning. And the important thing is that, number one, building a growth mindset. I think this is the important thing. A growth mindset, a concept that popularized by Dweck, is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort and perseverance. Encouraging students to view challenges as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles can reduce the fear and failure and boost their motivation to persist in language learning. This means seeing mistakes as a part of learning process rather than failures. Teachers can praise effort over natural ability, celebrate small improvement, and encourage learners to embrace mistakes as learning opportunities. The second one is fostering self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is a belief in one's ability to succeed in specific situations in language learning. It refers to confidence a learner has in their ability to understand and use English. Higher self-efficacy leads to greater effort, persistence, and resilience in the face of difficulties. And teacher can set achievable goals, provide constructive feedback, and encourage learners to track their own progress. Positive reinforcement and recognizing milestone build learner belief in their capability. And number three, the third is to encourage social connection. I think positive psychology emphasizes the importance of social relationship for well-being. In the context of language learning, social interaction is a powerful motivator. Social connection can help learners feel supported, reduce anxiety, and encourage practices. So, creating opportunities for learners to interact with peers in English, maybe through group project or language exchange activities, foster a supportive, collaborative learning environment. Therefore, integrating positive psychology into English language learning not only make the experience more enjoyable, but also help students develop the internal resources needed to overcome challenges. And by focusing the strength, fostering of growth mindset, promoting positive emotion, teachers can empower learners to become more confident, resilient, and motivated language learners. We are lucky that now we invite Prof. Wuri Sujatmiko, the person who are expert in positive psychology. I believe that our webinar this afternoon will be useful for us to foster, to empower English language teaching in our class. Ladies and gentlemen, it may be challenging to completely eliminate certain obstacles. It is certainly possible to make significant progress in addressing the issues of limited English proficiency among students. The complete solution maybe take time and concerted effort, and these strategies can contribute to significant improvement in the challenges faced by English teachers in Indonesia. The key lies in a collaborative and sustained commitment from educational stakeholders, including teachers and also administrators, policymakers, and the wider community. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Professor Wuri Sujatmiko for their willingness to share knowledge, experience, and expertise in the field of English language teaching. I would also like to offer a special word of thanks to the coordinator of TEFLIN West Sumatra for organizing these academic activities in the form of webinar. Last but not least, allow me to express my highest appreciation to all the participants who are taking part in this webinar, without whom the webinar will not have been possible. Finally, by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, the webinar of TEFLIN West Sumatra chapter with the theme Positive Psychology to Empower English Language Teaching is officially open. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all a very successful webinar and wonderful time learning from one to another. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Prof, for this. Thank you, Prof, for the inspiring speech. So, with that, the TEFLIN webinar is officially open. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we proceed to the main session today's webinar, the presentation and discussion. It is an honor to introduce our speaker, Professor Wuri Sujatmiko, who will be delivering a presentation on positive psychology to empower English language teaching. This session will be moderated by Ibu Witri Octavia MPD. To Ibu Witri Octavia MPD, the screen is yours.
All right. Thank you very much, Ibu Lili, for handing it over to me. Good afternoon, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Honorable Vice President of TEFLIN, Bapak Profesor Dr. M. Zaim M. Hum, Distinguished Speaker, Profesor Wuri Sujatmiko, the Coordinator of TEFLIN West Sumatra Chapter, Dr. Yuli Tiarina, MPD, Head of the Organizing Committee, Dr. Fitrawati, SSM, PD, esteemed lecturers and teachers, students, and all participants. It is my privilege to this webinar on positive psychology to empower English language teaching. My name is Witri Octavia, and I will serve as your moderator for this important and timely webinar. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today. I'm confident it will be an inspiring and thought-provoking experience for everyone. Well, before we begin, let's go over some housekeeping rules. First, please keep your microphone muted during the presentation to minimize background noise. If you have any questions for our speaker, please type them in the Q&A section or in the chat box, and we will address them during the discussion. This session will be recorded, and we will share the recording and the key takeaways afterward. You can also watch this session live on YouTube. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. It is my pleasure to introduce our distinguished speaker, Profesor Dr. Wuri Sujatmiko. Selamat siang, Ibu.
Selamat siang.
Yes, Professor Wuri is a prominent figure in the field of education. She served as the Director of Postgraduate Studies at Unika Widya Mandala, Surabaya from January 2004 to December 2012 and held various leadership roles, including Assistant Rector and Chair of the English Education Department. Professor Wuri has a comprehensive educational background, earning her bachelor's, master, and doctoral degrees in English language and education from reputable institutions. She has been actively involved in professional organizations, including TEFLIN, and has contributed significantly to the academic community through numerous publications and participation in national and international seminars. Additionally, she has received prestigious scholarships such as the Fulbright Senior Research Program, and has been recognized for her contribution to language education. Professor Wuri is also committed to community service, conducting workshop and training sessions aimed at enhancing educational quality and teacher development. Without further ado, yes, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's begin. Our speaker will talk about positive psychology to empower English language teaching. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Professor Wuri Sujatmiko. The screen is yours, Ibu.
Thank you so much, Putri, and thank you, Yuli, for inviting me to this very important webinar from TEFLIN West Sumatra chapter. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, Ibu.
Good afternoon.
This afternoon, I want to share about my readings and my practice of using positive psychology. Could I ask the sharing of? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Positive psychology is something innovative in the sense of humanizing people. We try to respect everybody, even our students. Next, please. So the difference between psychology and positive psychology is that when the psychology is flourishing. It is more on treating and identifying psychological disorders, mental illness to relieve symptoms. But positive psychology is a journey to personal growth into affectionate, joyful, and healthy mental. This is something very, very, very important for us all to, especially in our task as teachers. Well, during this time there were so many what do you call that, hardship happening to students, and so everything when we teach, we only think about testing, about scores, yeah, and about assignments, and if the assignments were not finished, then there was a kind of punishment, and so now positive psychology try to inspire. Next, please. Yeah, this is Martin Seligman, who founded, and he is now the father of positive psychology. Yeah, next. Now, if you click this, yeah, we can see what positive psychology is. Can we hear the voice?
Wait a second, Ibu.
Oh, yeah.
Hey Jim, what is positive psychology?
Positive psychology is really a movement in psychology that really has been promoted, I guess, in the last 20 years or so. Positive psychology means that rather than solely looking at problems that we're trying to fix or that we're trying to heal, where positive psychology helps people to develop more positive emotion. Things like developing gratitude, optimism, compassion and self-compassion, forgiveness and mindful awareness. It's looking at how do we develop and encourage states of flow and authentic happiness as opposed to happiness based on the pleasure principle. That, in a nutshell, that's what positive psychology is about. And it's something that I really integrate into my work because we can focus on getting rid of difficult emotions, but it's just as important to increase the availability of positive emotions.
I also have experiences with positive psychology. When some of my students came late, I, instead of saying hard words to them, I just say, "Oh, what happened? Was it the high traffic outside, or when they didn't submit their assignment?" I asked, "Well, what happened? Something difficult that you experience at home, or you know, you are so good and blah blah blah, and then why didn't can I wait for tomorrow or the day after tomorrow?" So instead of saying bad things, when we inspire them with compliments or so, I believe that we also can have good relationship with students. Next.
Hey Jim, what is positive psychology?
Yeah. So wellness, performance, and PERMA comes from positive emotions, engagement, relationship, meaning, and accomplishment. This is found by Seligman. So he tried to have a positive relationship with people. If we can have this in relationship, then there will be no war. Okay. Next. Yeah, like the video, the YouTube video said, positive emotions. Yeah, you have all joy, contentment, engagement, our experience, consume in activity and environment instead of getting panic or so. We enjoy in learning. Yeah, there will be good learning, relationship, quality and quantity of social connection, meaning, having meaning in life. That is very important. And accomplishment, of course. Next. Now, this is also a model of PERMA model. Could you play the video? Thank you. Yes. Joyful. Right.
Well-being, which is what free, non-suffering people choose to engage in, has 5 basic elements. P-E-R-M-N-A. P is subjective well-being, positive well-being, happiness. Positive psychology, in my view, doesn't stop with subjective well-being. It also asks about E-R-M-N-A, since these are things that people choose to do even if they don't bring happiness. The second, the E, is engagement, being one with the music, being completely wrapped up in a lecture or a conversation in leisure. Looks to me like about 60% of you are in flow now that you're one with the music, and as the other 40% of you are having sexual fantasies. R, and by the way, the reason E is not happiness is when someone is one with the music, if you interrupt them and ask them what they're thinking and feeling, 90% of the time they say nothing. The state of engagement, the state of flow, is emotionless by and large, and it's cognitive free. The third component is R, good relationships. I think people have evolved to pursue good relationships, whether or not they bring any of the other elements. The fourth is M, is meaning and purpose. So human beings, being future-oriented, are ineluctably meaning-seeking beings. They want to be part of something larger. And when people say that positive psychology or happiness is sort of about individuals, it's not remotely. It's about other people. It's about finding meaning in something much larger than you are. The individual self is a very poor site for well-being, and it's a zero site for happiness, I think. Happiness is social. You don't laugh out loud when you're alone very often. And A is accomplishment. Human beings ineluctably pursue competence, achievement, and mastery. So that's what I mean by well-being.
Yes. Next. please.
Well-being.
Yeah. And then later on, there is an additional that is health. Yeah. And as a result, this one, PERMA and H model has proven popular and effective, particularly in educational and workplace setting, where it can be predictive of wellness and performance. Yeah, this is that is the result of the use of PERMA. Yeah. Next. Now, positive psychology is talking about the development of character strengths in social intelligence, gratitude, humor, leadership, love of learning, and also for the person, compassion, self-compassion, and also forgiveness. If we can have all those things, what a wonderful world we have. Next. Now, the goal of education is not limited to academic purposes. Intellectual development, intellectual growth, equipping individuals with critical thinking skills and cognitive abilities. Some critical thinking has not happened, but now, with the goal must be critical thinking also, social and ethical development, to be a responsible and actively participate person as our citizen, and economic preparation. Of course, we go to school to be able to get a work job, and personal growth. Finally, education contributes to an individual's holistic personal development. This includes fostering self-awareness, self-esteem, and emotional intelligence and maturity. People always think that love yourself is wrong. No, love yourself is also good, as far as you are not make use of that love. Next. The problem of English language teaching. This is a research from our prominent people at TEFLIN. Sufan Zain, Professor Titi Sukiyati, Professor Fuad Abdul Hamid, Professor Nandan, researching 108 sources ranging from journal articles, book chapters, conference proceeding, doctoral dissertation research. The problem so far was caused by the diversity of social policies and vernacular and the being to connect with the global English. Now, some still have, I heard from my student that teaching English, some still use the vernacular substitution and so on and so on. Yeah, next. This is about sustainable development goals. Number 4 is about education. Next. Now, the report 2023. If we do not do anything, according to the report, the impacts of the climate crisis, the war in Ukraine and probably in the Middle East, a weak global economy, and the lingering effects of the COVID-19 pandemic have revealed weaknesses and hindered progress toward the goals. So, next. The current global problems, according to UN, progress towards quality education was already slower than required before the pandemic. But COVID-19 has had devastating impacts on education, causing learning losses in 4 out of 5 of the 104 countries studied. Come on. Without additional measures, an estimated of 84 million children and young people will stay out of school by 2030, and approximately 300 million students will lack the basic numeracy and literal skills necessary for success in life. Wow. We go to the what age? Yeah, next. The good news is that we already use learner-centered learning, replacing the teacher-centered approach, where learning happens not because of what the teacher says, but because of the student does. However, two misconceptions happen according to the research. Misconception one, learner-centered learning means letting the learners make all the decision about what they should study. Of course, it is not the concept of learner-centered, but what has been done in practice. Misconception two, learner-centered learning means students have full autonomy in their task of constructing knowledge and making meaning. Oh, yeah, next. Now, this is learning by reflection. Reflection is a new word saying let reflection until action. So reflection doesn't stop in reflection, but must be continued, that students must be able to do that, to do what they learn. In this model of learning, there are three things or 6 E's. Students must engage themselves in the learning so that they can learn. Otherwise, they don't learn. And engaging also means reflection to get themselves excellent. And what about the teacher? Teacher must be expertise, of course, and must have enthusiasm in teaching. Enthusiasm means they have love, not just because they are paid. This different. The difference of teaching is that when you teach, you love your job, and the empathy, because of the enthusiasm, the teacher can show empathy. But empathy itself cannot stand on alone. There must be with empowerment. How can excellent and engagement of learning be good? And they need empathy and empowerment. How would the teacher have expertise and enthusiasm? Next, please. Yeah, the traditional learning has a teacher is an expert, performer, and inspector, and the learner is like a sponge trying to get everything meaningless as a spectator, and the result is product, test, and scores. Nowadays, what is desired and between teacher and learner, teacher is a designer of learning environments and experiences, and learner becomes inquirer, could ask questions, could get everything, and then facilitator of reflection and meaning making. Meaning making means that what they learn becomes their own knowledge. And teacher as a coach of teachers of a transfer of learning, and the student creator. This now reflection refers to, why is reflection considered very successful? Because before students reflect, they read the material, the experience happening in the classroom, probably 2 or 3 times. That is reading and rereading. And then they analyze what is useful for them and what they can do later. So that and then seeing what is useful or not. And the reflection, after that, they write a journal about what they experience and so on. And then after that, it becomes something that students say yes or no. Next. These are the 3 reflection. Conceptual, that is about the what have I learned? How are the concepts and facts related to one another? How do they fit together? How are they related to what I have learned in other topics and subject areas? So it means that it is not standing alone, every subject standing alone, no. They must be useful for all learners in their work. And the metacognitive, how have I learned? What can the learning process I experience teach me? What ways of thinking unique to the discipline that I engage in? And for personal, why have I learned it? How is it important for my life? What are some implications in my life of what I have learned? Now, this is the differences when they can reflect the 3 things. Yeah, next. Here, engagement and excellence. Real learning happens only when students directly deals with this object of the study and the ideas and concepts related to it. Otherwise, they will only memorize the content, the content without understanding it. Excellent means that students make meaning of the subject able to put into practice. Excellence therefore refers to what students do with what they have learned. Next. Now, teacher's expertise. Empathy refers to the teacher's ability to enter the world of the students and to imagine what it must be like to be in their shoes. Only with empathy can one be an effective teacher, meeting the learners where they are and providing them the guidance they require to learn. Needless to say, the teacher empathy for the students stems from a genuine concern for them, an appreciation of their context, and a desire to help them. So let's make the relationship of teachers and learners is like father, mother, and their children with love. However, too much empathy is not healthy, even when students become overly dependent on teachers. Teachers empower their students by designing learning experience and encourage students to be self-directed and self-reliant. This is very important, that students can have self-directed and self-reliant so that they have the intrinsic motivation to learn. Next. Now, if we see in language learning, the content, vocabulary, spelling, mathematics, grammar, pronunciation, and teacher must know the pedagogy. The third, which is not yet coming, but it will be a very useful thing, wellness and maturity. Next. Yeah. Of course, teachers must be knowledgeable in their subject matter, but expertise means that they must not only know facts and concepts, but also be able to make connection between them. And teacher expertise includes not only subject matter expertise, but also expertise in pedagogy, psychology, technology, among others. And to be excellent and empathic teacher, she or he must also be a mature, well-being individual, body, mind, spirit. Body, mind, spirit is the body healthy, mind. So they are not egoistic, but they try to make their students get something. Spirit means that, yeah, you grow. Because if the teachers are successful in making themselves like this, they will be models for the learners. And that is very good. Next. Now, here, strengths in social intelligence, gratitude, humor, leadership, love of learning. So this makes the learning joyful. And if this come into the reflection learning, let us discuss what will learning and teaching be. Yeah, I think that is about how positive psychology will be able to make a learning and teaching a difference. Thank you.
All right. Yep. Thank you very much, Professor Uri, for that insightful presentation. I can highlight that between psychology and teaching and learning process, they are closely related. As what you explained earlier, what it means by teacher expertise is not only about the mastery of subject matter or the subject matter expertise, but it also related to the pedagogy, psychology, and technology. Now, psychology is probably something that we usually just take for granted so far. And I also love the ideas that when you say we have to humanize our students, we have uh, to make the engagement of the learning, we as the teachers need to have the empathy, genuine concern for them, and a desire to help the students. I really love that idea, and I think it's still challenging for us as the teachers, yeah, to be that kind of teachers. Well, Bapak Ibu, now let's come to the question and answer session. You may type your question on the chat box, or you may raise your hand so I can unmute your microphone and invite you to give the questions. Okay, right. I can see here there are, several participants raising hand. Let's start with Bapak Safrun. And after this, we would like to invite Bapak Niko, yeah? Pak Safrun, you can open your mic.
Hello, Miss Wade.
Hi. Oh, Pak Safrun.
Hello, Miss Prof. Wuri Sujatmiko. Anyway, this is psychology and education. It's very important for us as teacher nowadays. and also we know our generations is very different to what we were in the past. And I also agree that we have to give empathy to our students in order to bridge the relationship, a good relationship in the classroom. And then currently, I'm doing so hard to make them realize how important the learning is. And then I'm also interested in about reflection, types of reflections before. So I hope that my students can realize how important how important learning itself. And then my question is how we as a teacher can build this reflection to our students, because I'm struggling in doing so at the moment. Maybe this is my problem. I'm not sure with others. Thank you. Or should we how do you say, make a rubrics and then we check from time to time, or how? Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Pak Safrud. Professor Wuri, would you like to answer the questions, or we
Yeah.
invite another participant to ask questions?
Yeah, this question is very important to about reflection, right, Dr. Saffron? Usually after the classroom session about the material, we have questions, but not reflecting at the time. We can do it. We can give time, for example, 15 or 30 minutes for them to reflect, or we can ask them to do it at home. And we give some questions for them to answer and to reflect. That is the guidance of reflection. And probably it is not easy for them to learn, for students to learn reflection. Why? Because it is not our culture to think back, to think what happens about learning and so on. And they must learn about that. And I also have to learn myself that when I do reflection. But if they can do that, it will be a very useful result, because it is not only reflection. They write a journal. Writing about themselves, for themselves, not writing for the teachers. It is not a report. Writing how useful it is for them, how they get the knowledge. Is it easy or difficult, and so on. And analyzing the what, the how, and for themselves, is it useful? How can it be useful? If our students are teachers, like my students, my S2 students, they are all teachers, how those reflection can be useful for this for the learners. And also after some time they can read their reflection. Oh, and then, oh, last month or last year I already found this. And then that could be what inspiring meaningful experience for them, that to make themselves joyful of what they accomplish.
Right. Do you have any follow-up question, Pak Safrud? Yeah.
Yesterday, I've been doing, because I'm following another workshop from Relo at the moment. We also learned about journaling for the students. I'm trying also, I implemented in my classroom, but then what happened is that only 2 or 3 students who did this. Maybe I need time, that's it, to make
Yeah.
them get used to it.
Yeah, probably the students are not used to doing it. Yeah. But the point that Ibu Uri mentioned, that they can do it in various ways and they don't need to submit it to the teachers, perhaps to make it easier for them to reflect on the learning process. Okay, thank you very much, Ibu Wuri, and also Pak Safrun. Now we would like to invite Bapak Niko.
Okay, thank you. Firstly, am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for Miss Switri for the opportunity, and thank you for Professor Sujamiko for the insightful lecture. So, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Nico. I'm currently a trainee in a language center. So, I'm not as experienced as others in context of teaching, but when I was in a college, I found some problems when I flunked in teaching. I discovered that some of my students, they feeling anxious, and surely there's a lot of factors that affect their anxiety when it comes to learn language. One of the factors that I'm concerned was about some of the students believe they have a notion that learning English is difficult. So surely this is demotivating them to start learning English before they start learning it. So my question, what are the possible causes that makes them have a notion that English is difficult, and what are the possible things that we can do as a teacher candidate in the future? So that is my question, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can I directly answer?
Yes, okay.
Yeah, but Nico, thank you for the question. Yeah, there are of course many ways in positive psychology to handle students. What we have known so far, we usually have students competing to each other. One is very successful and the other fails all the time. But why not asking students to group, and we have cooperated learning, collaborated learning, and telling them your success is not when you are number one, but why don't you don't you help your friends to also grow with you? That is another way of learning together. So making students also caring for others, not only for themselves. So if you are good, really good, and you can help other people, your peers, why not? So this is inspiring them to share, and if they have that kind of quality, social quality, and also mental quality, they grow as a very good citizen later on. Yeah, so education is full of full of what do you call that, how to create people to be good in their growth. Yeah. transforming. Thank you.
All right. But how about the students who think that English is difficult? They have a kind of negative perception about English before they learn it. How can we encourage them, Professor?
Yeah, encouraging.
The students who think that English is very bit difficult, it is not, it's not my cup of tea, perhaps. They think it even before they learn it. Yeah.
Nowadays we have lots of games. A lot of games. We have word search. We have cross math and so on. If we can try to get them and who can who can uh, who can solve this problem, and they try to work together, and also songs and storytelling. Those who can write, they can write a story and so on. Yeah. And in writing the journal is also free writing because they can write about anything. It is not an assignment. Yeah. So
Yes, so we also encourage the students to write the journal about the learning process. Yeah.
learning process by reading. Well, yesterday I got from my student that the school now have what call it what is the name? That the students may read everything and then make a journal. That was a I got it last this order. Yeah,
Okay,
will
Prof.
come again.
Okay. All right. Okay, Pak Niko? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, now we have several questions on the chat box. I think I can read it for you, Professor. The first question is from Ibu Ratmanida. Yeah, thank you, Prof, for the interesting topics. And one question from me, how do you put these principles in teaching English specifically?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And all the principles. In learning reflection, we can ask students to write their journal every week. So if every week one journal, that is, it doesn't have to be correctly type correct and so on. Their journal, by and we also tell them that this is your writing to yourself. Speak to yourself. Try to speak to yourself. What is good for you? What is not good for you? And forgive yourself if you fail. do not get panic if you fail and so on and so on.
Got any mental issue because of the failure? Yeah, I saw that. Ibu Ratmanida raised hand. Bu Ratmanida, would you like to have a follow-up question or would you like to elaborate more on the questions?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Bu Wit. And
Yes.
thank you, Bu Wuri, Jatmiko. I think that's, oh, wait a minute. Sorry. Okay. Yes, that's an interesting topic. And sometimes, as Bu Witri say just now, just sometimes we take for granted for this matter. Well, in fact, it is a very important issue. Yeah. Okay. One of the maybe you already have shared with me one of the way to put this principle simple into practice is by having collaborative learning or something. Because I have problem with a speaker just now. I cannot hear properly.
the explanation. But maybe if you would you agree if I say that there is another way that we can help the students to have the fun and good atmosphere in classroom is by what Vygotsky say, involving the social interaction. Yeah, that's how we involve the students interact in the classroom. Again, as one of your principles say, one of the role of the teacher is as designer. So as a designer here, I think the most important one is the role of the teacher is to be creative and innovative. That's how the teacher need to think what they're going to do in order to develop, to design how the classroom atmosphere should be. As Pak Anies also says, he also agreed that the English classroom should be fun. So also this really related with your topics is how we can create the classroom atmosphere. That's one. That's what I suggest. One more idea is the importance of interaction in the classroom. This is how the teacher can activate the students to interact in the classroom. Yeah, the teacher is not only to say when the teaching is only to finish the teaching. No, that only to how they can create such a classroom atmosphere by involving the students in interaction. That's what I think. Whether it is such it's agree with you. What is
Yeah,
but this
yeah.
experience. Well, I find it a lot of classroom and practice that's classroom is just quiet. We don't see the students are active, participating, enjoy in the classroom. So you actually they can manage the classroom in good classroom atmosphere in such a way. Group work one of the sample. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Prof.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. This is my experience. Yeah. Every time I have a new class, I always say to them, now we are on the same boat. We are journeying in learning, helping each other and so on, without any distance, without what call that? Do not do not do not do not be afraid of making mistakes and so on. I also say do not call me professor, call me Buri, so that I do not have distance with them. We are all friends. Let us journey together. Sometimes I ask you, can you help me this? And another time I have another thing and ask something new. I share that to them, and yeah, make friends with with the students. That is number one, and ask them sometimes to present instead of the teacher presenting all the time. Ask them, prepare them to ask blah blah blah, for example. Also, and grouping them, let them discuss in groups. Yeah, learning together. And so that is how we try to make the class what call it joyful, more learning without getting afraid. Yeah, that is, and if they succeed in one thing, try also to appreciate it. Appreciate they they happen to be great in answering. Oh, thank you, for example, and so on. Jokingly, yeah. Does
Right.
it answer your question, Lolita?
Yeah, thank you, Buri. Thank
All
you.
right.
Brilliant.
Thank you. That's a very insightful experience, ya, Ibu. Uh, Classroom interaction it could happen when we give the opportunity for the students to involve more in the class. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Bu Ratmanida. Now, before we move back to the questions from the chat box, I see that Bu Fefli also raised hand. Would you like to ask question, Bu Fefli?
Yes, Bu Fitri, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, hi Bu Uri, happy to see you here. I am a teacher of SMA 3 Padang, Bu, so I think I have many experience related to the psychology in education. As we know that in my school, not only like ordinary students, we have also inclusion students. Now, as the teacher, we are asked to build the positive psychology for our students. But most of the teachers, not in my school, not only in my school, but most of the schools, the teachers do not have the capability in handle these inclusion students. So it seems to me that the teachers cannot handle them maximal well I think. So this condition makes me sad because the psychology that we want to build, the positive psychology, cannot build in a good way for them. So how to do this? How to solve this problem? We have 36 students in classroom, and 5 or 3 students are inclusion in my class, in one class. And it's difficult for me to handle this, to know their needs, to give the what we call the service, how to teach them in a good way. So I think it is not only in my place, because I am not capable to handle the inclusion students, especially the slow learners, the what we call it, siswa yang mungkin secara penglihatan itu lemah, secara berpikir lamban, Bu. Ada yang autis juga gitu ya kan. They can learn in public school. Nah, this is the problem now. So how to do this? When we teach them in collaborative activities, the friends don't care them. Then their friends let them study alone because you are not good. You are slow learners.
Oh.
And that's this condition made me sad, make me sad until now. But I try to do my best in my classroom to handle this, to learn more and more about this. Okay, thank you, Bu Uri. Thank you, Bu
Yeah.
Fitri.
I know, Ibu, about how difficult this is. Yeah, something more transforming people to be a good one is always difficult. But I don't know whether we can we can appreciate those who are success. Who, I don't know. There must be, if there is one or two who are successful, probably they can be an example of the others, or if the principal can have a kind of recollection and seminars to show them this is really good, that through what is it we, we can make other people change. We cannot make other people change, but they have to change it themselves. Yeah, that is it's the teachers. But at least if we change, we can be a model for others. Yeah, we can have a model. It is really difficult, especially because the work of teachers sometimes are so heavy in the sense of we teach too many classes, and then we have to be responsible for other things than teaching, sometimes administration and all those things. I know it is not an easy thing for us, but let's try. Let's try, and if we are successful, we can celebrate it and share it to others. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Ibu. I think it's a kind of a deep questions and also challenging
Yeah.
for Ibu Fefli talking about inclusive students. Sometimes,
Inclusive.
yes, we as the teachers have already, let's say we have tried our best to help
Mhm.
or to accommodate
Mhm.
the students, but sometimes the environment doesn't support them.
Mm.
In this case is the peers. Yeah, the peers
Oh.
do not help these students,
Oh.
especially these inclusive students, to grow together with them. Yeah, this is a challenge that Bu Fefli has
Oh.
just mentioned
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
explained.
I missed it.
Ibu Wuri, probably you can share your uh, opinion, your ideas based on your experience, how to, yeah, we can facilitate, we can
Mhm.
create a positive environment for these students, not
Yeah.
only from the perspective of the teachers, but also the students also
Oh.
involved on this.
Yeah. Uh, Unfortunately, I do not have the uh, experience with inclusive students, but probably what we can do is that uh, personal talk with them. So instead of giving the same assignments, you can give probably a more easier assignment and praising them when they can do that. Um, yeah, it's inclusive students actually must be well taken care personally. I don't know. Yeah, it's very hard to say.
That's the job for all of us as a teachers. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Ibu Fefli, thank you very much for the questions.
Mm.
Um, Now we move to the next questions, Ibu. We see there are several questions on the chat box. And this is the question from Farhan. Yeah, this is the students. Thank you so much for insightful presentation, Prof. Based on your presentation materials, I got a questions. How PERMA model developed students' discipline? You're talking about PERMA and how can this model develop students' discipline, Ibu Wuri?
Yeah. Uh, being being good to students doesn't have to be what do you call that letting them do anything. Yeah. So when they do something wrong, they should also let them know, but not in a way like we, for example, uh, tell them in front of the friends, or let us talk to them individually and ask whether they can do something better and so on. Yeah, it's about personal treatments. It's not easy.
Okay. So it means that being empathetic or being empathetic teacher or being empathetic
Yeah,
students doesn't mean that you become permissive as the teachers. Yeah, there are also some boundaries that you can give to the students, and then also pay attention on the way you can you I mean on the way you say something that you want to
yeah,
say to the students. Yeah, probably not in front of the
uh-huh.
friends. Yeah, you can do it personally to the
Yes.
students because perhaps it
Mm.
can give different effect for the students.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also, if you know well the person well, you probably okay. She is weak or he is weak, but he or she must have something special. For example, if you can do that, you can praise about that kind of ability that she could do something differently. Yeah, probably we can touch their feelings so that they transform themselves about that kind of ability in a as a what do you call, as a route for their being a better person. I think we can if we can put ourselves in their shoes.
Yes, put ourselves in
Probably
their shoes. Yeah,
yes.
that's not an easy one,
Knowing,
I think.
yeah,
Yes. Okay, Ibu Wuri, I think the next question is still related to the previous one or still
yeah,
related to our previous discussion. It is about
uh-huh.
the border. How far the border the teacher built the empathy with the students in learning process. Because I think previously you mentioned when we become empathy doesn't mean that it doesn't you shouldn't make the students overly dependent on the teachers right now. What are the borders? So we can still be empathetic to the students, but we still the learning process is still uh, going on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We must have for example, a rule. For example, they have to submit every week, for example, and then they do not submit, and then oh yeah, they can ask, "What's wrong with you? You do not submit this. Is there something difficult? Can I help you?" So you try to use we try to use good words, yeah, instead of getting angry to them. We can ask them to come on. You are good at this. Why not use this as a as your what's that, as your success later? Have a dream. Ask them, what is your dream? Example. So we, yeah, that is how you encourage, how can encourage the weak students. Mm. Not
Okay.
pushing them to their failure, but try to look for what is good at them of them, and then we can talk about that as a stepping stone.
All right, Ibu.
Yeah.
So if you want to get mad to your students, yeah, I think it is very likely for us to get mad to the students, yeah. But if you want to get mad to the students, do it nicely.
Yeah.
Probably that's something related to the empathy, yeah. But of course, both teachers and students need to know the border, yeah. It needs to know the limitation, and I think we need to inform them about the rules at the beginning of our class So
Yeah.
it is not the rules given by the teachers, but the rules that we both agree on. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Great.
Prof, yes. Bapak Ibu, do you still have another questions? But our time is almost up. Okay. Well, uh, thank you very much, Ibu Wuri. Thank you very much for the insightful and deep presentation. Like I told you earlier, that psychology or positive psychology, especially being empathetic to the students, care about the students' feeling, probably this is something that most of us as the teachers just take for granted. We mostly focus on a pedagogy, the method of teaching students, and the use of technology to facilitate the students with the learning. So sometimes we just ignore the feeling of the students. So the impact is on the engagement, on the interaction in the class. So thank you very much, Ibu Wuri,
Yeah.
for
May I
opening
have
our
one thing?
eyes. Yes. Would you
One
like
more
to
thing.
have a
Yeah,
closing
one
statement?
thing.
Yes.
If we have if we get a success in changing one student, yeah, in changing to be a better student, we are very happy, and that is a stepping stone also for us to make more effort to other students. That is the that is yeah. What is that?
Okay. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
We do probably at the beginning we do not target to change all of the students. One students only, and you can see the
Yeah.
impact, yeah, and probably the impact can be transformed or can be transformed to other students in our class. Okay, Ibu. Once again, thank you very much for
Thank
opening
you
our
so much.
eyes, how important the psychology here, especially related to the learning process and how to make it effective for our students. Okay. Thank you, Ibu. Thank you to our audience also for your active participation. And on behalf of the organizing committee, I express our gratitude. And the last, let's give our a big round of applause to our speaker today, Ibu Professor Wuri Sujatmiko. Thank you very much, Ibu.
Thank
Um,
you so much.
yeah, I think I will give it back to our MC, Ibu Lily. Thank you. And I do apologize for all the mistakes. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Well, thank you, Ibu Professor Wuri Sujatmiko, for the insightful presentation today. And also thank you, Bu Witri, for moderating this session. As a token of appreciation, we would like to present a certificate of appreciation to our speaker. We kindly invite Ibu Pitrawati to virtually hand over the certificate to Professor Wuri Sujatmiko.
No,
Okay, Prof. Thank you very much, Prof.
thank you so much.
Once again, okay, thank you very much, Prof, for your inspiring presentation for today.
It is a pleasure. Pleasure is mine.
Okay.
Probably because of the internet connection. Oh, Bu Lily, you are back. We still haven't the next session, Ibu Lily. Okay, while waiting for Ibu Lily, For the participants or the audience today, we will give you the link for the attendance today, and also it is the link for getting the certificate. There are some consideration that you need to pay attention on filling in your name in the certificate. So after you fill in the attendance, you will directly get the certificate in your email. Well, to close this session, I would like to invite Ibu Fitrawati as the chair of today's webinar. Ibu Fitrawati, screen is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Ibu Witri. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Vice President of TEFLIN, Professor Dr. Zain Hum, the Honorable TEFLIN Coordinator for West Sumatra Chapter, Dr. Yuli Tiarina. A special acknowledge to our respectable speaker, Professor Wuri Sujatmiko. Thank you, Prof. And most importantly, our distinguished participants of the webinar TEFLIN today. Bapak and Ibu, we have reached the end of our enriching webinar. Yeah, I am truly impressed by the enthusiasm and active participation that we have demonstrated throughout the session today. But before we close the session, on behalf of the committee, I would like to report the participants attending this webinar today. There are 360 participants joining the webinar. They consist of 52 lecturers, 48 teachers, and 251 students, and 2 other participants. From the discussion, we can conclude how positive psychology can help boost and empower student motivation, foster deeper engagement in the learning process, and drive better achievement. Through the various innovative strategies, we examine that we are now equipped to implement this approach directly in our classroom. I firmly believe that every student possesses incredible potential, and our role as the educator is to help them to discover and develop their potential. By focusing the students' strengths, optimism, and well-being, we can create learning experiences that are not only effective, but also meaningful and engaging. I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to our speakers, Professor Wuri, for sharing her insight and expertise. Her knowledge and skill have provided us with valuable inspiration and guidance. I also thanks to the participants who have decided their time and energy to join this webinar. It is hoped that we learn a lot today with the positive of the psychology. Let us continue to learn, share, and collaborate to create more positive and empowering English language learning for generation to come. With that, I am proud to close this session, and I would look forward to seeing you at the future event in the next TEFLIN West Sumatra chapter. The agenda, the title is Deep Learning Approach in English Language Teaching. Probably it will be on June 2025. Yes, Bu Yuli? And also, I would like to inform about the 71st TEFLIN conference, yeah, international conference in Universitas Brawijaya. So the date will be on 8 and 10 October 2025. Yeah, for you all who interested and who are interested in, so you can later submit the abstract submission. Later, I will share the brochure of this TEFLIN conference. So I think that's all today. Thank you very much for all. I do not have pantun. Bu Yuli, I think she has already given you the pantun. But then I would like to say thank you. This is the end of our webinar. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you, Bu Fitrawati, for closing remark, and thank you, Bu Witri, for having me just now. Now, before we close this event, we would like to invite all participants, speaker, committee to join us for the virtual group photo. Okay, to answer a great picture, please turn on your camera and keep smile. Bisa dibantu Bu Wit biar nampak semuanya sudah. Bu Witri, can you help me to take the picture?
Oh, okay, Bu.
Okay.
Yeah, but we don't know in which screens you are, so please keep smiling. Okay, for the first screen, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'll share it to WhatsApp group. Wait a second. Yes, and next, the second screen. 1, 2, 3. The third screen. 1, 2, 3. The fourth one. 1, 2, 3. And we move to the fifth screen. 1, 2, 3. Next. 1, 2, 3. And the last one. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Okay, Ibu Lily, done?
Okay, thank you, Bu Witri, for handle this picture. Yep, we hope Bu Witri will share the picture to our participant later. Okay, Bapak Ibu semua, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your participation. Thank you for joining us in the webinar of TEFLIN. I'm so sorry for everything. We hope you have found today's webinar insightful and inspiring. May the knowledge we have gained today be beneficial for all of us. Thank you, Ibu Profesor. Thank you, Bapak Professor Zaim. Thank you, the participant in here. Next, by saying
you.
wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Ya, Bu.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I will close with say Alhamdulillah and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
See you, Bapak Ibu, in the next webinar of West Sumatra, TEFLIN West Sumatra chapter in June.
Okay.